Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right, so page 1, the opinion. You guys
Okay.
want to look at that? Like I said, to me, that's the most important thing about the audit. The opinion on the financial statements, and you have a clean opinion. The next section is the management discussion and analysis, and that starts on page 5. And this is just a brief overview of how things fluctuated from one year to the next, and maybe some very broad reasons why it might have happened. Starting on page 17 is the financial statements. And from what I understand, this is the first time you guys had a chance to even look at the financial statements. Is there anything on the financial statements you guys particularly want to talk about, or?
I don't know, Dustin, do you want to talk about anything?
No, I mean,
I'm good.
Okay, all right.
So my questions.
What I want to leave
He's
here.
the accountant.
Okay. I think I remember that. Starting on page 22 are the notes of the financial statements. And this information in here gives you more in-depth information about the financial statements, what makes up account balances, that kind of thing. On page 74, since you guys spend over $750,000 of federal expenditures, you're required to have a federal audit. Page 74 is your federal schedule of federal expenditures. This year, we audited the ESSER grant as your major program. And if you go to page 81, this are the results of that audit over ESSER. So we didn't have any problems with the ESSER program. We didn't have problems with the ESSER program, but we did have one significant deficiency to report, and that's over financial reporting and supporting documentation. So when we were here, and this occurred because we had Clay left, you guys had another treasurer, and then Ginger came, and you had some helpers in between and all that kind of stuff. So basically, by the time we got here, we were hoping to have financial statements. We had some financial statements, and then they changed 3 or 4 times after.
Yeah.
So, when we're doing an audit, the purpose of the audit is to audit the financial statements. So made it a little difficult. So that ends up being part of the significant deficiency to say that, once we get here, there should be some final financial statements.
It'll be better next year.
I do believe that. Yes, I do. Some of the other issues we had was with supporting documentation. And I went through here and kind of said, hey, these are the things that it took a while to get the supporting documentation. Some of it was provided and some of it wasn't provided. And so we just kind of went with it. The last thing I noticed I didn't put on here, the documentation for the real estate taxes, we never did get. We contacted the commission multiple times to try to just get it, and I guess they're having some real difficulty finding. I don't know what's difficult.
Welcome to rural West Virginia.
But they weren't able to give us the support either, and so a combination of all this stuff, we end up calling it a significant deficiency. We kind of limited it to that instead of a material weakness because we were hoping, but the federal side of things, that ends up affecting your determination of a low risk or high risk auditee.
What page are you on? What language is that on?
So this is page 81 and 82.
Okay,
Which is
I'm still-
85 in the PDF numbers. As far as the documentation for the real estate taxes, so is that something that's provided to us and we just have to document it typically, or so we'll have it in the future, or for this year when
I
they?
believe it was actually a problem getting it from the state
Okay.
or local. I don't remember
Local.
which one.
So
They came here, I think I was on day 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit blurry.
Yeah.
What we looked for.
Well, I just meant like for this year, so if we're not provided anything, we have to, or we provided that every year and we just
Wasn't
didn't
it
file it right.
specifically for on the taxes receivable entry?
So it's not, so it wasn't for the necessarily taxes receivable, it was just for the regular revenue. So
Oh.
normally what would happen is, or I don't know how it happens here in Gilmer, I'm assuming with the money, they send you some sort of tax document or document saying, hey, we gave you $80,000, or
Right.
whatever it is. So we had nothing
Mhm.
to know what it was, provided by the board, or by the commission. So the commission did end up giving us a list of payments, but we were like,
Right.
well, what?
Well, as long as, I mean, my only thought is like, it's obviously, if it's something that we received, then we just have to maintain it. But, it's hard to do anything about it if the state
Yeah.
loses stuff too.
So all these
But,
things are things that,
right.
if we're just,
Right.
they just had a hard time putting their hands on, I think is what it
Right.
boiled down to.
But that one in particular, I don't think ever showed up on the doorstep.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think for this year to make sure we get it, but, it's hard to do if the state just doesn't give you anything. So we'll figure something out, but,
They were going through secretaries in the sheriff's office as fast as we were going through accountants.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's really where it happened. There was just miscommunication between the two.
Yeah, because like I called them the normal person I usually ask for, like the sheriff's settlement sheet, and they're like, she's not here anymore. I was like, okay, can I talk to whoever like took her
oh,
job?
okay, well,
And,
just relied on our.
She's
care
getting
if it's-
trained.
And they were like, so we don't have that closed out yet. I said, you don't have it closed out yet? That was like 9 months ago. And they said, no,
Yeah,
we got
there's-
some issues. And I said, okay. I said, well, this is my.
So
issue.
now we
Like,
do too,
I said,
thanks.
I'm trying to do this and I need
Right,
that. And they said, well, I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. so well, if nothing else, we'll all march into the sheriff's office and have a talk.
So that's the only thing that we reported, and kind of how it's gonna affect you. So we still haven't filed with the feds either. So the deadline to file with the feds is March 31st. So we're past that deadline.
Mhm.
And so that means going forward for the next 2 years, you guys are gonna be, for federal purposes, not a low-risk auditee. And so what that really means is, instead of us auditing 20% of your expenditures, we have to audit 40% of your federal expenditures. Now, some years that's not going to make a difference. You might have one program that's going to make up the 40%. And other years, that might mean that we have to audit 2 programs to get to the 40%. So, and that's just for 2 years. And after 2 years, the significant deficiency will drop off and the final rate will drop off. So,
Well, onward and upward.
yeah. So, but that's kind of how it affects you and like what it means with low risk, high risk type
Okay.
of determination as far as that goes. And so like, if you look at page 81 where it says low risk auditee, this year you were a low risk auditee. Going forward for the next 2 years, it will say no.
As far as the management action, or the management response, before we look to approve these financials, we would need to draft up that response. Is that typically how?
Yeah, so because you're federal, we have to have a corrective action plan in place, and it has to be on you guys' letterhead, and it gets included with the report. So this is just a draft because we were, Ginger wanted you guys' input into the response. And I kind of gave her a sample form and I think maybe what the corrective action plan was a few years ago. And there's material missing there.
You got this, Ginger. We have faith in you.
So before we would look to approve these, then we would just hold it until next time, get everything together and then approve it all at once would be the right way to do it. So at the next meeting, just approve it with the management response and everything all at once.
Do they not have to approve it before you send it there? Because they're going to be read together.
Well, he needs the response at the same time. So,
Yeah, so I can't submit this to the feds until we have a complete package, and that would include the corrective action plan.
which we have to approve with it, I would think.
I don't know.
Special meeting.
We always do a special meeting, but otherwise it's what, 2 weeks? Or do we go longer? When's our next meeting?
It's not till
It's
July.
not till
Not till
July.
So we're probably gonna come in before then and get it moving, but
Does anybody know if we have to approve the corrective action before it goes out, or is that something
That's
that
something I
Ginger
don't
can do?
I was just doing it as a courtesy, honestly, since it had been so long. I felt like the board should be involved, but I also don't want to hold the report and we are already.
Well, if it's not something we have to approve, I mean, I have faith in you. That's why we hired you. So,
Yeah, I mean,
And a lot of times the responses are somewhat generic.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just typically, I'm coming from banking, so that's all I know. I don't know what the rules are, if we have to 100% approve everything at once or what here. So it's school stuff, but.
So what do you want us to do?
Could we approve the financials pending that document?
Yeah,
And let me produce that.
That would be how it
document
would
to him
work.
And then share it with you guys on the July 1st meeting.
yes.
And then it should all be about the same timing, honestly, by the time he gets it
Okay.
uploaded. That way we
So,
won't hold him up.
wait a minute.
It was really my fault. I just didn't feel comfortable giving it all to him and you guys aren't even getting to see it.
I think
Wait a minute, where are we?
that's probably fine.
Why don't you just make that motion then?
Well,
So we still have.
he's
a
got some more,
management
he's
letter.
got the management letter. to
Oh,
get
Yeah.
to.
So there's a few other things that we didn't think was important enough to go into the report, but we wanted to report to management. The first thing is the publication of the financial statements here in West Virginia. You got 90 days after fiscal year end to publish those, and we didn't have any evidence that they were published. So we would recommend, of course, that you do that. The next thing is the public hearing for the budget inspection. Same thing, we didn't have any support saying that that occurred or it was published or anything like that, so make the recommendation that you do it. Kind of the last thing here is probably the most important thing, at least from my perspective, is the remittance of payroll taxes. So one of the ones that we looked at, there is a late fee for $138. We do a lot of work in Ohio. In Ohio, they would ask the treasurer to pay that back. Of course, West Virginia, we don't do it like that, but I mean, just bringing this to your attention that like there was a late fee, and of course we want you guys to pay all that stuff on time. That kind
Better times ahead.
of thing. I think that's it, unless you guys have questions.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
So we'll look for a motion to, normally we would say, accept the audited financial report pending the management response. And then also into accept the management letter.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? All right. Next up is workers' comp.
Don't even say that word
As if
around
things
me.
could get any better.
Sure.
Okay, so every year we have to make a designation of who our workers' compensation carrier will be. And we work with an agent, that's Tawny Insurance. That's our agent of record for workers' compensation only. And their office put together bid packets and went out to bid on our behalf, with a little bit of information from us. And I believe you have the 3 bids that we received, you should, as well as the letter of recommendation from him, which suggests choosing the lowest bid. In my history, we haven't always chosen the lowest bid because workers' compensation is something that is extremely service heavy. So you don't want to recommend a carrier that your employees are gonna have issues with, or that we're going to have issues with billing. And I've never worked with Hartford, but Mr. Tawny assures me that they have done a lot of business with them and they wholeheartedly support them being our carrier for the 25 school year.
You know what we currently use or who we currently use?
Travelers is who we have in 24.
I was looking at the comparisons. Looks like they bid on the same thing, right? So all the
Yes,
terms,
they
everything
should
the same.
have. We provide the overall payroll and the E-mod that's something that Tawny has that goes to each one. And apparently Hartford will only bid on the really low E mods, which Gilmer is fortunate enough to have, so that's one of the reasons I think that they're lower, because that's all they bid on, they don't bid on any of the higher ones.
So I make a motion to accept Mr. Tawny's recommendation to approve Hartford Mutual as our workers' comp carrier for 24-25 at a cost of $25,535.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? All right. Bill payments between June 10th and June 30th.
These are the ones that we don't know. We just need to make a motion to approve to do that. Yeah, I make a motion to approve payment for any bills that arise between June 10th and June 30th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Approval of the budget supplements and transfers.
I'm making a motion to approve necessary budget and supplements that should be needed between June 10th and June 30th, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Carries. All right. Next, quick claim deed.
So just to give you a brief rundown on what has happened since, I believe, around 2018, Gilmer County Schools sold what they thought was all Sand Fork Elementary property, sold it at auction, parcel numbers were listed and so forth. In the meantime, it has changed hands, and the new owners, I believe it's called Hometown Ventures, were having a survey completed. And when they got partly way through the survey, they found some descriptors on the deed that wasn't included. And it was the goal and the intent of the board to sell all of that, and there was a few descriptors left off. In order to rectify that problem, we went through Bowles Rice, worked with Mark D'Antoni, their land attorney, and Hometown Ventures, and crafted a quitclaim deed that included the previous owners, Hometown Ventures, and the Board of Education. And in order to do this thing legally on your end, I've worked with Josh Cottle, and we have made a consideration for the deed as a part of this meeting with the exact language for the motion to approve the deed, if you see
He's
so.
still speaking to us?
Yes, he is. He is speaking to us. So as far as
moved.
we actually have to read the consideration.
Okay.
Do you want to do
The,
it?
the
I move
actual,
that the board authorize the board president to execute on behalf of the board a confirmatory and corrective quitclaim deed, quitclaiming to Home Ventures LLC certain real property known as the Sand Fork Elementary School property containing 1/8 of an acre and designated for tax assessment purposes as parcel 10 of tax map 4 and Sand Fork Corporation District, and to execute any further instruments or documents on behalf of the board necessary to quitclaim said real property to Home Ventures LLC, which real property was intended to be conveyed by the board in a certain deed dated December 4th, 2017 of record in deed book 552, page 189 in the office of the clerk of the County Commission of Gilmer County, West Virginia.
Second.
all right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right.
all right.
On to-
So are you on board with this therapy pause, Tyson?
I'm I'm always looking for new and fresh ways to increase the quality of education that our kids receive.
Good answer.
Did you reverse that?
Can I ask one question?
Who has to take it to potty?
What about pet allergies?
Get a
Kids
Shih
with
Tzu.
pet allergies.
They're hypoallergenic.
Oh, is it? Is it hypoallergenic?
It is the one that's offered to us, and currently what has sparked this. So there has been several different discussions about what may be available, and we were looking at getting, what was it, Tyson? Some kind of doodle.
There was a Labradoodle. This dog is a Labrador.
This is an actual Labrador Retriever, and the lady that is training this dog recommends this for elementary school kids. They apparently the Labradoodles might be, I don't know,
Aggressive.
more. They're not as calm as for this grade level of kid. So yeah, as far as allergies, I don't know if you read the handler's guide and things like that. The specific things about allergies isn't really covered in that guide. We would definitely
Give them some clarity.
not be able to have those students around the animal.
Really though, who has to, who's,
I
someone
I
has to
don't wanna
volunteer
exclude a
to.
student because of a pet is the only thing. Like, if everybody, oh, it's a pet time, oh, Billy can't go be with the dog, so now he's got to sit out.
Billy gets left out at home then too.
I hear
so-
that. I know. Man. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I like dogs. I'm a dog person. Is
Yeah.
it a male or a female dog?
Man,
It's a male,
male?
yeah.
I'm more about that. Less problem.
You have a Labrador, don't you?
We have a potential handler, and we've already talked about people that could be backup handlers, and there has to be a whole team of people. The main thing is you would be fitted for the cost. We're going to have to pay for this dog and everything for this dog for the life of the dog. If this dog runs out and gets hit by a car, we're paying for it.
No.
It
Is it
happens.
something you want to do?
I want to do.
Blah, blah,
What
blah.
are the costs then?
Well,
What are
of
we
course we would, and if you looked in the
So
guide.
we do have to buy the food and everything. That's not through a grant or anything. Like that. It's
No.
not going to be refunded to us.
No.
So how did this come up? How did this?
This is an initiative, I think, by the First Lady. And if you could see, I believe they have, and I don't want to tell you wrong, I want to bring up the guide because they have a map there with how many counties they are. They want to get one in every county. And you can see their guide there. They're in probably 20 counties now. And it takes a while for the training and so on and so forth. And the eventual hope is they'll have one of these therapy dogs in each district made available.
So it's their initiative, but they're not paying for it.
They're paying for the dog. The dog is very expensive.
All the training, upfront training.
The dog is probably this is probably a very, very expensive. I would hate to even think what this training costs. It's a lot. What we would have to pay, they bring it to and from school.
Is the handler somebody would be a teacher, or is it like a whole new position?
No, it's somebody at the school, and backup handlers are located at the school as well. And
So if something happens to the dog, we have to pay for the dog.
mhm.
So even if it's at the handler's dog and it eats some rat poisoning, let's say, we got to reimburse
Or don't?
We may-
this firm for their dog or something.
No, we don't have to reimburse, that's
It's
one
our
thing
dog.
that's one question I didn't ask. If what happens if the dog gets
We'll just
sick
have a
and,
look.
what happens?
There are pet insurance policies.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna let them.
And then, if for some reason we
Yeah.
no longer want the dog, what happens then?
No, we
Stop.
have
Send it
we
home
have
to
the
Tyson.
dog. If we get the dog, it is ours. We will, we would have to pay for it. We'd have to pay for its vet bills every year. It's going to have shots. It's going to have to see a vet a couple times a year, same as everybody else's dog. And we are going to have to pay for that. Now, I asked those questions, and she's, the representative from the governor's office said, hey, lots of times you can work with your local vets, and because this is a service dog in a school, they'll let you do it for free. That you can work with your local
We
feed
don't
supply
have-
store that, you put up, you get your feed for our service dog from here and they give you a lifetime supply of dog food.
This is a state of West Virginia thing, right?
Huh?
Guess you have to hit up Hardman's. Get it generic dog food.
Oh, Roy.
I don't think we should probably get old Roy for this dog. This is, I would hate to think what this dog costs. I don't know the cost off the top of my head, but do you know it, Mr. Price?
I had heard.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's.
This is
We have to pay for that?
No,
They
with that,
have to pay.
no.
Okay,
Give you the dog.
No, They're paying, they're giving us the dog. They're
It's
giving us
just
the
a-
dog. I got you.
it's just a-
They're
Give
giving us
commitment.
that part. Yeah. The part that we would, and honestly, if this dog lives to be, let's say 12 years old, it's going to cost us some money. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat that.
It's $299 to recertify it every year per handler.
Yes.
$50 a dog food a week, a month. I'm joking. I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
probably,
Let's
that's
go
probably
ahead.
close.
I'm good.
What I wanted to do was,
For a 44-pound bag.
before we do this, I wanted to make sure you guys were, do I think there's benefits to the kids? Yes, I think there are benefits to the kids. I think there's a lot of kids with high stress and behavior issues that probably would be greatly impacted by having the animal there. There is going to be a fiscal responsibility from the board.
So what happens if the dog bites a child
There's a liability insurance.
Mm-hmm.
that we pay for?
Mm-hmm.
Page 7 on there, page 6 has the financial support of the therapy dog. It breaks it down. How much
Yeah.
food, how much grooming, how much treats, and emergency vet care is.
I'm just worried, like, still about the allergies. Like, if a kid doesn't have a dog at home, they come in there and they have a asthma attack and don't have an inhaler because they didn't know they were allergic to a dog.
They
We'll have to-
can't get epinephrine because we still haven't done the policy.
we'll have to
So
see
the financial support is $900 for food. Grooming is $400 to $500. Treats,
I like that that's a simple point.
which we may give them this many treats, $1,000. That's a lot of treats. That's emergency vet care, which if you've ever taken your dog to an emergency vet, $1,000 won't even walk through the door.
What's the total there?
Hey, 5 years and Kate will be done.
And,
$299 for recertification for old handlers and $399 for new.
If you happen to have a handler that couldn't handle the dog anymore for any given reason, and these folks will have to go through training, and we will have to pay for their training. And then what does the insurance cost? I'm looking here. Do you see what page that's
I
on?
was looking at certified liability insurance.
Tyson, I'd like to have your real opinion.
I think it would be a benefit for a lot of students. I really do. But I also see it from I'm trying to look at it from all
Yeah.
of
I mean, animals are always a good thing, but
Can we partner up with another school that has one and just borrow theirs once in a while?
I like that idea. I do.
well, I think that
I did make that suggestion myself and said, hey, can we use these between the two? And she's not, it's going to be local to the school. It needs to be at the school every day. It needs to be servicing students that are having behavioral problems and difficulties and emotional difficulties daily.
Part of me likes it because I do think it might help some of the kids, but also it's like that.
It says
But
here
they
that
can
it
put
says
commitment on this thing.
that yes, your dog comes with a $2 million liability insurance policy that only kept valid with an annual recertification training class for trainers and dogs each year. So that's one of the costs. We don't have to pay the insurance,
It's inclusion.
but we do have to go back and do the yearly training, and each one of those costs $299. And we would have that in cost of those 4 or 5 people every year. So you're looking probably,
4 or 5 different trainers.
yeah.
I'm just trying to envision the disruption at an elementary school that
A dog running down the hallway.
having a dog in the hallways and
Well, I assume there's like certain times and places that you use the dog typically.
Right. So, when I look at 900 for food and 500 what they estimated for grooming, that's $1,400 in itself. And then when I add the $299 per existing handler, and how many would we have?
There are 4 total.
I have an idea. We could table it for now and dangle it as a carrot to the kids to motivate attendance and test scores.
Well, we can't.
There's an open
year.
dog though.
The
but
dog is there, and
the
it's going to be
dog's ready.
available mid-July, and it's
But if
either.
I mean, it's not like, I assume this program will continue, so if we say that, it'll be a different dog. So-
We're gonna have a new governor.
I think this is the governor's wife's deal.
Yeah.
It's going to cost us about $1,200 a year just to annually recertify,
Plus all the other expenses, that's on top of the. rest.
plus the $1,000 for food and the $500 for
Let's
the.
just be conservative and say probably.
It's going to cost us
$4,000 or so.
$4,000 a year probably for this dog.
Probably
Now,
build
if the
a
kids,
dock on
can the kids
river.
pay for that? Tyson?
Now,
Fundraising?
what they have recommended, actually, what they have recommended, it's funny you say that, but they call it
Nice dog.
what is that? It's I want to get the language right. What's it called, Tyson? A pup?
It's essentially a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser
But they have a cute
for,
name for it.
yeah, they did. And I'm at a loss. I'm looking for it now, but the fundraiser for the dog, they recommend doing that. It's on page 9 of the handout.
So my next question then would also be, it's for like the troubled kids with obedience or what's such not what, like will it be used by all the kids, or is this once again something for the select few?
No, I think it's going to be used.
Yeah, it wouldn't be just for, it wouldn't be assigned to students, it wouldn't be assigned to a specific classroom, it would be available.
They have all this research that they've done about how it, makes the culture of the school better. It it's just like it lightens the mood with people. It helps people that are having behavior issues and different things like that. Calms people down. And when there's times of emotional distress, somebody loses a family member, they would have time that they could spend with the animal and different things like that. But I want to be right up front. It's going to cost some money to the district.
I don't know, Tyson. Of course, right now, we're really drilling down on academics and putting all of our effort there. Do you think this will be an addition or a subtraction to that?
So I don't think it would be a takeaway of any focus on academics. But I respect the will of the board. Don't get me
I mean,
wrong.
I don't have strong feelings,
I do know that a lot of counties have tried to bring this in and had to pay that upfront cost and have been willing to pay that upfront cost. in
Have you-
thousands of dollars.
Have you heard how it's
I have
Help.
actually.
Yeah,
I
that's-
I had a conversation with, through a mutual friend, the community and schools coordinator in Lewis County. And I had a conversation with her one time about the service dog that they had. And she's the primary handler of that dog in Lewis County. It, from her perspective, was a really successful program. It's still bad.
I mean, I think as the building administrator, you're probably going to bear the brunt of any issues with it, so,
Certainly.
Is Cody still on the line?
mostly concrete block? It's not like it's going to chew the corners.
Cody. Cody.
It's actually drywall. It's going.
Yes.
You just cursed us. We'll probably have one
Do
that
you have
chews.
any thoughts about the dog?
Serious concern with the idea. I mean, I see the benefits to the students, but I think the financial responsibility that's not necessarily built in the budget is an issue. I think the allergy issue that Brett's talking about is really not addressed. I think, your issue, what happens if it goes crazy and bites somebody? I mean, I'm very cautious on this item, I think.
I hate things like this.
I do too, because I love dogs. Like,
Yeah.
I love dogs.
I mean, we have 10. Everybody should have a few.
let's just get one of Hillary.
I mean, I can bring one over. That'd be cheaper.
Bring it in once a week.
I mean, I have concerns to bear the brunt of those concerns.
I will say this, there's more and more, there's been more and more push from both students and employees to have dogs. If we would get our own, we can utilize that dog and say, no, we have that service provided. We have a trained, animal on staff. That is a positive to the whole issue. Sending somebody out all the time while it uses the bathroom and, exercising it and doing all that, that's a lot of work. And it's a lot of expense, especially health expense. That's why I wanted to bring it before you guys, before we,
Do
before
we
we.
pay the handler? Do we have to pay us, or is that just a voluntary?
It's a volunteer.
They get a dog,
They get the dog.
They get-
Mhm.
in a sense.
Man, yeah. It's a shame we can't let the high school use it once a week.
Well, we can take it to the high school.
Yeah.
It really needs to be located and available every day at the school, but we can use it across the county. I did ask that.
They could teach it to sniff out babes.
That'd probably be an additional cost to the training, Brett.
I will,
What do y'all think? Dr. Barr, you got any 2 cents?
Well, unfortunately, I have to seek a motion or.
Yeah, it really we really do need to decide because, when we first started conceptualizing, we're like, yeah, send us the information, let's get a handler. And then last month they called, probably not even, it was at the end of May, and they said, hey, your dog's ready. We have one available if you want it. We could hold off and not get this one and say, hey, we're just not ready yet, but they definitely have one ready. It even has a name, right, Tyson?
Yes. Boaz.
Its name will be Boaz.
Bo for sure.
or Cephas, both Cephas.
I think Brett will call it Bo Cephas.
Yeah.
But it's really going to be up to you guys.
Well, I guess I'm going to support Tyson, and if he wants to take on this chaos, and I'll make a motion that we approve it.
We got a motion. Can anybody have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll give you an eye.
All those opposed? Nay. Any abstentions?
Cody.
said nay.
Cody said no.
Mhm.
3-2, motion passed. Man, guys, we went over the financials and I feel like this was.
This is the hard stuff.
It was one of the most contentious items
I mean,
we've ever had.
that was a 10+ year commitment, guys. So, I mean, financials are just annual, so I mean, I get it. So.
That was a tough one.
I would, this is on Tyson's head now, because that's the only reason I did it. If he'd have said, no, we don't really want that, then I'd have been
I'm not
okay.
gonna lie, that's the only reason I did it too.
So,
That was close. That was close.
Because
I
it's
still
a-
feel bad about we don't have a
it's-
storage building out there.
well, it's a big commitment.
We got a really good team at Gilmer. There's a lot of people.
That's what we should have done.
I'll take, we'll look at a doghouse before the story. All right, let's go on to
We got
The
quite a
next
bit.
item.
We got quite a bit set aside there. So
personnel.
yeah.
Let me see here. I move pursuant to 6-9A-42 of the West Virginia Code that the board go into executive session to discuss personnel and personnel matters which, if discussed in public, might affect adversely the reputation of any person.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor to go into executive?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstention? All right, it's been moved second. All in favor? Aye.
I need to recuse myself.
Yeah, professional, yeah.
Hey.
You've reached Cody. I'm unavailable right now. Please call me back.
Do you want me to wait a minute or just go ahead and get back into it? You just have them call in.
Try again.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
We have arisen from executive session.
All right, Dr. Manning, when you're ready.
Yeah, professional, these are employment positions that I'm recommending for hire. Emily Ramazan, middle school science teacher, GCHS, 2024, 2025. Stephanie Chapman, physical education teacher, Gilmer County Elementary School, 2024, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the professional section of the personnel agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, next.
All right, service, recommendation, Brandy Castile, cook, Gilmer County High School, 24, 25 school year. To hire Steve Rollins, supervisor of maintenance for the 24, 25 school year. The next recommendation is Eric Martin, resignation, to accept his resignation as bus operator effective 5/22/24. And then to approve Robin Roberts's prior service credit of 10 years.
Make a motion to approve the service portion of the personnel agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Next is extracurricular. Ashley Barker, Gilmer County High School Student Council Advisor, 24-25 school year. Adam Stewart, resignation, auxiliary golf coach, effective 5/29/24. Lynn Frederick, resignation, head middle school football coach, effective 6/4/24. And then approval of supplement for athletic director of $10,000.
I make a motion to approve the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
And finally, permission to post assistant athletic director.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
Aye.
abstention? Motion carries.
Did you get Cody's?
All right. I believe that's it for personnel. On to continuous improvement.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
So I have been with our summer boost staff today, hence why I'm wearing my Save the Children t-shirt. I wanted to share with you first some things our kiddos are involved in this summer. This morning, Kinder Boost started. I think we had 10 that showed up. We have 16 on the list. And this is a time that they come in from preschool over into a kindergarten room. They get to be with a kindergarten teacher and engage in some activities just to get comfortable and ready for next school year. And our parents, we had 6 parents that joined Donna Fox. Tanya Bonecutter was also here from Save the Children today. They met with parents and worked on some kindergarten readiness in a workshop setting. So that was great to have those parents join them. Summer Boost team, again, was out for training today at Flatwoods. We currently have 68 elementary children enrolled. 49 are confirmed, but we will be calling everyone on Wednesday and kind of clean up that list. We do have some children waiting to get on the list. So excitement is building for Summer Boost.
So we're at capacity.
We are, but this happens every summer. You always have a much longer list, and then you have some who show up the first 2 or 3 days and it's not for them. We have some who think they're going to come and then plans change because it's summer. So again, we're just going to call, see what we can do. The first week's a little strange in that we will meet Monday, Tuesday, and then the 19th we're off, the 20th we're off, and then Friday, of course, will be the Folk Festival. So but I would encourage people, if they're interested, call. We can get them on the list and we'll see what we can do. Okay?
Starts June 17th.
Yep, next Monday. And then our high school kiddos, our big focus with high school for the summer is credit recovery. Calling and talking with parents. Maybe they failed a class, 9th through 12th grade. We want to help them recover that credit this summer. So those are some of the things happening within Gilmer. We did have a Gilmer County 10th grader that attended the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership at Fairmont State University. That was Anna Mason. She attended June 6th through 9th. We have 4 students who will be attending governor's schools this year. We have a 10th grader, Jenna Smith, who will attend Governor's School of the Arts at West Virginia Wesleyan College. Adelaide Chapman is an 8th grader. He will be attending the Governor's School Literacy Through the Arts, Culture, and History at the West Virginia Culture Center and West Virginia State University. And we also have a 7th grader, which is the youngest, who can attend Governor's Schools. Job Carter will be attending the Governor's STEM Institute at WVU. And a 9th grader, Nicholas Klauser, who will be attending the very first Governor's School for Tourism. So I'm excited. I think that's great. I'm trying to process what would be the best way for them to share out. Maybe come to a board meeting and speak, recognize their achievement. I'd love for them to speak to their peers at school and build some interest. I know we have more kids that could be attending, and we want to encourage that. So those are goals we have. As for the summer programs, Kinder Boost is up and running. Summer Boost High School, the menu will be posted and the bus routes will be available soon. So we'll get those out on the websites.
One more thing about the summer school. What are the hours of your operation on summer school? It starts on the 17th and 18th, and it goes from...
8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I knew that. I just wanted to write down. I had somebody ask about it.
So that's what's happening with our kiddos. So what's been happening with our staff? Last week, we had our Gilmer County Summer Instructional Academy. We invited our teachers and instructional aides to join us for 3 days of professional development. We held it within our 2 schools. We had a total of 42 professional staff and 8 instructional aides that attended. The professional development included half day of PBIS with Erin Day Aguilera from the West Virginia Autism Center. She worked with our middle school, high school staff. Then we had a tiered systems of support training with our elementary staff presented by the Gilmer County Science of Reading team. Then on Wednesday, in the afternoon on the 4th, Tuesday the 4th, the staff met with their principals and worked on the student handbooks. They had some really great discussion about some thoughts and ideas, things to do with student handbooks. Then on Wednesday, June 5th, the entire staff was at the high school for a co-teaching training with Jeremy Brunty from Education System Solutions. They thought what I've heard thus far, they thought the presenters were great. They were very engaging. They would like to see them again and maybe on a different topic. So Mrs. Mason and I have been talking about that. Thursday, June 6th, was Building Thinking Classrooms led by our Gilmer County Numeracy Network educators. Amber Frazier worked with our elementary staff, while Morgan Allen worked with our high school staff. Then in the afternoon, they had time to work on pacing guides, thinking tasks, and just other paperwork that teachers need time. They just need time to get some of that stuff accomplished that they don't have time. They don't have time to get that done. So they had some time, especially on Thursday afternoon, to complete that. And they are very thankful. I sent out a 9-question survey today, asking for some feedback. I've already heard from a fifth of them, so that's great. But the most important question is number 9. What are your 3 top snack requests for PD days in Gilmer County? So, to be continued. I'll have to share that list with you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Meany?
All right, not much that I've got really to update. We have administrative council tomorrow to Career Center. And next week, I will be traveling to WVASA, the Superintendent's Conference for the summer conference. And then directly after that conference, I'll be helping put on the dance and training students and working at the West Virginia State Folk Festival through Saturday. And the following week from that, I go on a vacation that I will actually be teaching people how to dance. So it's not really a vacation. I'll be working. But if you need me, just go ahead and text me. I'll be in Marlinton that week. But this will be our last board meeting in the month of June. And I don't foresee any special meetings, but if we'd happen to have one, I can call one. I wanted to recognize Dr. Barr for his service. This is we really appreciate it. He did a good job at serving all the students in Gilmer County schools, and I wanted to personally thank him publicly. That I think he's been an excellent board member, and we're very honored that he's been in our service for the last few years, and I appreciate all of his help. And hopefully we can continue a relationship with Glenville State and still be partners and so on and so forth. But as far as major updates, don't have anything major, just kind of doing our summer work, getting our calendars created and planning for next year, which all will be coming out promptly.
All right. Board member comments. Mr. Chapman.
Mrs. West sharing all the schools that all the extracurricular things that our kids are doing this summer. I just wanted to inquire about boys and girls state camp.
We do not have anyone attending this year,
That's sad.
so we will work on that.
Yes. If you ever need help judging, like I participated in that when I was a kid. I found it very interesting. So, no.
Me too, Brett. So cute.
Did you participate?
So cute.
My roommate was the president. We got to drive around a golf cart all week.
I'm sure.
Dr. Barr, time well spent. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for all your help. And you guys, and just enjoy your summer until we meet again.
Mr. Moore, Cody, anything from you?
I just want to thank Dr. Barr again for his years of service, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
Dr. Miller.
Thank you, Dr. Barr, for all your help. I've certainly appreciated it. I wanted to share from the Gilmer County Extension Office a subject that is near and dear to my apocalypse heart: food preservation workshops. They will be having a dehydration freezing workshop on June 25th, water bath canning on July 9th, and pressure canning on July 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Gilmer County Extension Office. And you can call 304-462-7061 to schedule for that. I want to thank everyone for their continued hard work, for our school system, for our community, for making our kids better every single day here.
I'll just say thank you to everybody here for wrapping up the year, finish strong. Thanks for everybody who voted for me to continue to be on the board, but that also means I have to go to new board member training, so I will not be around for much of the folk festival since it conflicts. So
That's a fact.
Mr. Barton, I suppose I'll see you there. And Dr. Barr, it's been a privilege to serve with you on the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have fun, Cody. Yeah.
All right.
Well, we didn't make it to 4 hours. I'm sorry.
No, my pizza's
Hey, but we did have a record set today.